Welcome to My Opinion here on My Opinion TV. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell. So as soon as a video is released, you'll be one of the first to be notified. And this morning, we want to look at three situations that's bubbling this morning. First up, a double murder in Clarendon. Second, 5 shot, 1 dead in Portmore, a JDF private included among the injured. And then a 17-year-old killed in Hanover while his brother was injured in the attack. But first up, let's talk about the double murder in Clarendon. And I'm going to read from the Jamaica Loop. It says the Jamaica Constabulary Force Information Arm, the CCU, has confirmed the shooting deaths of 2 men in Lionel Town area of Clarendon on Tuesday. And if you all can remember, I've done a few videos now where I'm telling you things is beginning to get hot in Clarendon, because racecourse, racetrack, Rocky Point, those areas are beginning to show where it's ugly head. Man killed, her house set on fire, person's house have been firebombed over a period, over a month now. Now, continuing, however, few confirmed details of the circumstances surrounding the double homicide were available up to the time of their writing this. Reports are that a single shooter, who is thought to be a passenger in a taxi that both now deceased persons were traveling in, shot them and escaped from the scene. So basically what they're saying was that these 2 men were in a taxi and a passenger was in there, and the passenger actually took the lives of these 2 men. The passenger fired 2 shots, not 2 shots rather, fired shots from his rifle, killing these 2 men. The 2 men, one of whom was the taxi driver, reportedly died on the spot. So one of them was actually the driver and the other a passenger. And based on what we are hearing, and you will see more as we go along, is that these 2 men were long-time friends. One of the men has been identified as Kirk Keke Militant Taylor. He was a popular radio broadcaster, MC, comedian, host known for his onstage antics at stage shows and bike shows in the area. So he was a very popular person based on his antics, his comedian type of behavior. He was also an MC. So, this really shook up a lot of persons in Clarendon. The other victim was reportedly his childhood friend, a man known by the stage name Jadiside, aka O'Dane, who operated a taxi on a route in Clarendon. And they are saying that these 2 men are real sample men. If you know what it means when Jamaica say men are sample, these men make you laugh at will, right? And these 2 men, based on what we are hearing, were high school friends from very technical. They never left each other. They party together. They go shows together. They hang out together. They were always together. Now, what could have caused this passenger to pull the trigger on these 2 men? I don't know. But as I said, based on what we are hearing on the ground, is that in Clarendon, things are getting really, really tense these days. Because as I've said to you, person's house have been firebombed over a month now. About 5 to 6 houses have been firebombed in the Clarendon area. Racecourse, Lionel Town, these areas are under scrutiny right now of being very hot. And I think the police should look into a trend developing down there in Clarendon and see what they can do to eliminate these elements. But the police can't do it all. Recently, we know the police had set up a curfew in the Effortville community. Well, that seemed to have slowed down. We haven't heard much about Effortville in the news, but the focus shifts to the other side of Clarendon, and this is where the problem lies with criminal activity. When one side is under police eyes, they move their operation to somewhere else. I don't know if the same players, or other players just get jealous and start something of their own. I don't know. Or it could be another means of deflecting the police attention from one area to the next. But we say condolences to these persons in Clarendon, and we have seen a lot of persons saying these two men were really good friends and they don't know what they could have done to warrant a death like this. But Jamaica is a place right now where nobody is safe. You don't have to do anybody anything for someone to take your life. And one of the biggest killers of Jamaican people is a thing called bad mind. Sometimes these criminals, you don't do them nothing. All they see you do is go about and you're achieving, and they decide that it's time to take your life. They just take your life by the means of bad mind. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Now to the other situation where a man was killed and 4 others were injured during a shooting incident at about 5:15 p.m. on Tuesday along the El Shamin Road at the intersection of East Mid Street in the vicinity of a popular hardware store in Portmore, St. Catherine. The deceased has been identified as Winston Suckinney Jones of a Greater Portmore, St. Catherine address. The gunshot victims included a Jamaica Defense Force private. Another of the gunshot victims is a motorcyclist of Kingston 11 address. Reports are that the motorcyclist from Kingston and another man were traveling on a bike when they rode up to a white station wagon motorcar, and there was an exchange of gunfire which resulted in the motorcyclist and other bystanders being shot. The injured persons were taken to Spanish Town Hospital where Jones were pronounced dead about half an hour later of his arrival. But this seems to be gunman trading shots with gunman, because the bike pulled up against the car and they started a shootout. So whatever situation that occurred or whatever information both the person traveling on the bike and the person in the wagon had, it was definitely going to be a shootout. And then to complicate the matters and let matters get worse is that bystanders were injured in this stupid act. These gunmen, they don't know how to use their weapon, and they are putting the lives of innocent Jamaican citizens at risk when they and their cronies have a fallout. And this might have been one of the situation where they and their cronies had a fallout and they decided to shoot it out with each other. And then, when you know it, 5 people shot. It could have been 5 people killed based on how stupid and how widely these criminals decided to fire. But thank goodness, I hope the injured are not considered serious. We hope that these persons will recover, and we hope that the police, as usual, will do their investigations, and we hope that anybody who saw what happened and knew what happened, give the police some information. There are various ways to supply police with information, and you can use any means possible to give the police information as it relates to what you know. Now is the time people need to get up and try to fight for Jamaica. Jamaica is dying. Every single day, persons are dying. At least we're averaging 4 murders. 4 murders per day based on what is happening in Jamaica. Yesterday I did the video, 52 days, 212 persons killed. What are we fighting for? That's the big question. But let me know what you think in the comment section. The final bit of news we want to look at is a 17-year-old student of Rhodes Hall High School in Hanover was shot dead and his older brother seriously injured when armed men kicked in the door to their two-room boarded house and opened fire in a pre-dawn attack on Tuesday. The dead student have been identified as Zaylon Curtis, otherwise called Hilltop Boss, of Campbell's Hill in Lance Bay, also in Hanover. His 24-year-old brother, who was not identified by the police, suffered multiple gunshot wounds and has been admitted to hospital in critical condition. Reports from the Lucy police indicate that at about 1:30 a.m., Curtis and his elder brother were asleep in the bed when gunmen invaded their home and sprayed them with bullets. Their mother, who was asleep in an adjoining room in the house, was not hurt. Curtis was pronounced dead at Noel Holmes Hospital in Lucy. Residents of Campbell's Hill were in shock on Tuesday afternoon. Relatives of the slain students said some family members, including Curtis' grandmother, who fainted on hearing the news of the boy's death, were badly shaken up by the tragedy. Marvin Grant, that's Curtis' uncle, said that his brother were not an antagonist. These little boys have them little bike and him ride upon down, but as to be a known troublemaker, no, that's what the family member says. Up to February 23rd, Hanover has recorded 8 murders. The murders were committed in Lance Bay area of Hanover. Now, first up, I don't know the situation. As I'm saying, this is just my opinion. Persons close to the situation can let me know. I feel very uncomfortable to hear a 17-year-old being called Hilltop Boss. That suggests something to me. I am not saying he was a criminal. I'm not saying he was a bad person. But I just don't like that alias name. Now, a 17-year-old, and the situation where they say that these little boys just ride their bike up and down. Maybe it's these yang bikes. We don't know. As I said, these are just speculations, and the police are doing their investigation. But at 17-year-old, why would you be caught up in a situation where why criminal would kick in the door and open fire on a young 17-year-old and his brother? What could they have possibly done to deserve this? But at the same breath, who is doing all the damage in Jamaica is a young person, so I can't swear for no one. I don't know who was Zaylon Curtis. His family members are saying he was no antagonist, and they are wondering why they were killed. But I guess sooner or later the truth will be revealed. Police will be doing their investigations, and no doubt some motive for the killing will be arrived at, and persons will kind of see where this is all coming from. But it is unfortunate for a family to lose one person, much less two at the same time. So I can understand the trauma this family is going through at the moment. But if you know anything, as usual, turn over the information to the police so that the situation can be dealt with in a timely manner. And the family will find some solace, some peace, knowing that at least the killer or the killers are no more on the street. But if you sit down and allow the killers to get away, you could be next. And when we say you could be next, based on how things is going in Jamaica, it seems as if nobody is exempted. The blind, the deaf, the crippled, everybody, the elderly, the children, no one is exempted based on how these killers are operating. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell, so as soon as a video is released, you'll be one of the first to be notified. Until next time, take care of the children. Look out for a neighbor. Look out for a loved one. And most of all, keep it locked on My Opinion TV.